Hello, I'm Colleen Gallagher, CEO at OnWrd UpWrd, and you're listening to the Association Insights podcast powered by OnWrd UpWrd, where each week we interview association leaders from across the country to hear how they're trying new things, taking big risks, and delivering value for their members. We'll explore the realities of what it means to work in and with associations and bring you the insights and inspiration you need to advance your career and make big changes at your association. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Association Insights podcast powered by OnWrd UpWrd. I'm your host, Colleen Gallagher, and today I'm joined by Adrienne Lerro, a partner at PwC. Adrienne has spent her career helping organizations navigate complex operational technology and transformation challenges with a particular focus on improving processes, managing risk, and helping teams adapt to change. I'm so excited to tap into her perspective on leadership, on AI, and what it really takes to successfully drive transformation in larger organizations. So this one's going to be more for some of our large associations. We've done a lot focused on those smaller and mid-sized ones, and today I want to talk to those listeners out there at those bigger associations. She's so incredibly smart and talented. I'm also beyond lucky to get to connect with her in my personal life as my sister-in-law, and I know you'll learn so much from her today. So Adrienne, thank you for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks, Colleen. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Well, can you start by sharing a bit about your role at PwC, the kind of clients you work with and the challenges you're helping organizations solve today?
So I've been at PwC for 16 years, and I lead a lot of our global transformations for KYC initiatives. And I think today what's exciting is we've worked with institutions for years to come in and do transformation and program redesign and really look for ways to improve operations and have had impacts of 30% reductions in the work. But in the world of AI, we're really seeing that transformation accelerate and helping to move to more 50 to 70% savings in processes and redesign.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know for our listeners, they're excited about AI, they're excited about becoming more efficient, what they can do differently, how they can better reach their members, and just overall how they can change, because associations are not always excited about change, which you'll find out as we talk here more. But one thing I know you spent a lot of your career doing is helping those organizations navigate the major operational and tech transformations that you talked about. I'm really curious what separates the initiatives that succeed from the ones that struggle.
There's no one-size approach that fits everyone. So the ones that typically struggle are they come in and someone says, oh, do it this way, and they try to implement the out-of-the-box solution without really looking at what's best for their organization. So what we really encourage organizations to do is you have to look at where you are as an organization. What is the business problem that you're trying to solve? It's not just about throwing in technology. That might not ultimately be your best solution. It's really looking at the process transformation. Does it make sense to build a quick fix, or should you be looking at a more holistic transformation? And typically where institutions struggle is their data isn't there, they implement the technology, and then they don't see the results. So they chalk it up as a fail, where ultimately what they should have been looking at is other options of, is it an internal build? Is it bringing in a vendor with their technology? Is it moving to a managed service approach where it's not part of your core objective and you really should be working with another organization and let them take it over? And that doesn't mean just giving you bodies and resources. It's really supporting a holistic transformation to make sure that they're actually working with you to be responsible for meeting your SLAs, your quality reviews, but then also you ultimately still being accountable.
Yeah, 100%. It's so funny getting to talk to someone outside of our association world bubble and hearing how many of the challenges are so similar. And when I hear you talk about like business problems, whenever we talk to associations about their communications efforts, we always say you have to bring it back to an association objective and to your mission and to a real challenge or problem you're trying to solve, because you don't want to do stuff just for the sake of doing it. So I love that. And I think that's a really good message. And for associations, it comes back to your mission always. And are you doing something that serves that mission or not? And what's the best way to do it? So I think that's...
In every industry, you ultimately spend a lot of money thinking you're going to solve a problem. But if you're not really looking at the right objective of what you're trying to solve, that's where you see the failed implementations and then having to go back to the drawing board and start all over.
Yeah, amen to that. So we've already mentioned AI, I think like 5 or 6 times, and there's so much excitement around AI right now. But you're getting to see organizations implement it in real world environments, which is really cool. Where are you seeing AI create, that meaningful impact right now? And where do you think there's still might be overestimating what it can do?
Where we're really seeing institutions that are successful is where you're reimagining the processes. We actually have an AI performance study that we released at PwC, which we surveyed over 1,200 leaders across the globe. And what we found is the top 20% of AI adopters that were realizing the largest benefits in their processes were 2 to 3 times more likely to reimagine and relook at the processes. I mentioned I do a lot in KYC managed services, and there's amazing opportunities there. You can narrative generation, screening, but if you continue to just look at those individual processes and implement AI, you're not going to realize the ultimate benefit. It's really about stopping and saying, if I could do this all over again, how would I? And not making your current bad, outdated processes that are on legacy systems, bad data, more efficient. It's really about transforming and rethinking how you're conducting your operations.
I love that advice. That's so good. And I think when we get excited about AI and all of this change and just the transformation in general, we can tend to overlook the people side of the equation. So I would love to know what you've learned about bringing teams along through change, especially when tech and processes are involved, because that's a huge part of it.
Change is hard. And people are reluctant to change. Yes. I mean, it's something where, especially as you're coming in, and AI is exciting, but it's also a little scary. There's all the hype out there about the jobs market and what it's going to do in the industry. The reality is where we're really driving our teams is to embrace the AI and look at it, have them be a part of the solution. So yes, their job may be impacted, but if you bring them along in the journey and make sure that they're a part of helping the implementation, you're putting the time and investing in them to upskill and to move them into new roles, it's exciting. When we look at, and again, I'll bring it back to KYC, on average, there's 5 different people in most institutions that are touching the process just to onboard a customer. It's over 10 different systems that they're touching. And more than 40% of their time is just doing manual reviews of consolidating information, which that is all things the AI can take away and do now. And you can give your teams the ability to start thinking more critically, which ultimately makes their jobs more exciting.
Yeah. That's so spot on, because people do hate change. It's really funny. And I know some people think this is a controversial thing to say, but I really do think it's not that AI is going to take all of our jobs. It's going to take the jobs from the people who don't embrace it and don't learn how to use it to be better at their jobs.
It is. It's the fun buzzword of AI is not going to take your job. The person using AI will.
Yes.
And but because you're as an institution, you're still ultimately accountable. So you need to make sure you're upskilling your people and they're embracing it and they're challenged. They're not just accepting what the AI is telling them, but actually leveraging their expertise. I mean, AI can give the appearance of expertise. It can actually give intelligence. So you still have to be investing in your teams to make sure that they're ultimately accountable for the results.
That's such a great take. And I would say for our associations listening, don't just tell your team use AI, train them, teach them, make sure you're overseeing how they're using it. We have at our agency, everyone that uses AI has to let me know how and why and what it helped them achieve. And our clients need to know that we are using it. It's in all of our contracts. You've got to have oversight. It's not just like roll the dice, hope it works, because that's going to get you in trouble.
And you want to see the return on investment. And that's where it comes into the, your operating model. If you're going to put the investment in, as you hopefully are, or working with, again, the managed services or another provider that's helping you to realize the benefits of AI, you want to make sure you're getting the intended results. So, it's very easy for people to go on and, summarize emails and help draft emails, which is great. And you should be using AI for that, but there's so much more potential beyond that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, crystal ball time. As you look at the next few years, what is one trend or maybe a shift that leaders should be paying more attention to now so they're better prepared for what's happening next?
I really do think it's the convergence of processes. So you have to get outside of the siloed vision of I'm solving for KYC, I'm solving for screening within KYC, and you've got to start to look at the ultimate objective of knowing your customer, knowing your vendor, knowing your association, and making sure that you're meeting those objectives. And to do that, it creates a lot of great opportunities to pull in processes. I do a lot of work with financial institutions, so it's moving beyond just KYC to how are you bringing in AML, how are you bringing in fraud, how are you bringing in cybersecurity, and really bringing the process together and leveraging AI and the ability of all the data to, one, improve your client experience, which is the ultimate goal, but two, make yourself more advanced in actually looking for opportunities to manage potential risks and know your customers.
Yeah, I love that. This conversation did not disappoint, as I knew it wouldn't, because you are so smart and filled with so many great insights. So thank you for sharing that with our listeners today. Before we let you go, though, I get to put you on the hot seat here. We ask all of our podcast guests to answer some just for fun questions so our listeners can get to know you a little bit more. So our first one is, what is one small thing that's bringing you joy lately?
I have to start with, as she said, she's my sister-in-law, so she's obligated to say great things about me. But it's always fun to get to have a conversation with Colleen and all the great work she's doing. One thing that's getting me excited lately, we've been doing a lot of hiking with the kids. And to the point where watching their little fearless faces, they start to climb through rocks has been amazing.
That's awesome. I love it. Okay, what are you currently obsessed with? Book, show, hobby, idea? What's the latest obsession?
I am really behind on Shrinking, but it's been my binge this week to catch up on the final season, and it's been a lot of fun.
I haven't started yet, and it's on my list. It has been forever, so I'm even more behind than you, but I am excited because it looks like a good one. All right, what is your ideal comfort food?
Pizza Friday night, pizza to movie night, beer, and then movie night means falling asleep on the sofa, but definitely pizza.
Can't go wrong with that. Or as this past Friday's movie night, my daughter being scared and having to leave the movie night midway through, as often happens. Okay, what is a travel moment that still makes you smile when you think about it? I know you've had a really exciting one recently too.
We did. I think it ties to the hiking. We had the privilege of going to Iceland for spring break, and it was amazing. Just felt like a dream the entire time. Everywhere you looked, there was something more beautiful and more amazing to look at. But it was watching, I think, Reagan look up the mountain, and as we decided to climb up a huge staircase to see the top of the waterfall, and her little stubborn face as she was determined to do it, and up the mountain she went.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And my daughter is 7 for those.
Yeah, no, that's a big feat for someone that small, but she's very strong. Awesome. Well, Adrienne, thank you so much. It's always a joy to get to talk to you, but I appreciate you helping me out here and coming on the show and sharing some great insights for our listeners. And that's a wrap for today's episode. The Association Insights podcast, powered by OnWrd and UpWrd, is a production of OnWrd and UpWrd Marketing and Communications, where our mission is to make associations and nonprofits the go-to source in their industries through earned media and thought leadership. This podcast is an extension of our newsletter, a weekly collection of best practices, top trends, helpful ideas, and smart strategies delivered straight to your inbox. Have you undertaken a big change at your association? Or do you have some words of wisdom from the trenches of association life? Well, we want to hear from you, and so do our listeners. Drop us a note at info@onwardupwrd.com. That's info@onwrdupwrd.com. Be sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share with your friends and colleagues. We're available anywhere podcasts are found. Come back next week for more association inspiration and insights. Thanks for tuning in.